And there is one last technique that I wanted to mention here, and it's a parallel compression. And I'm just going to use a drum loop to demonstrate this, and it gives us yet another chance of setting up our pre-fader send. So let's add a loop into our channel rack. I'm going to open it into a new slicer channel. Send it to the next available mixer track, Control L. So this is just going to be our dry signal. Let's set up a send. We're going to sidechain to this next track, insert right next to it. I'm going to rename this to our parallel compression. And let's send it from our send to our parallel insert. So right now we're just sending exact copy into insert 6 on this mixer here. And on this insert, I'm going to set up a compressor, and let's try out this multiband compressor this time. And the difference between just a regular compressor and a multiband compressor is that we have control over the compression split into these 3 frequency bands, low, mid, and high. And again, we're hearing some phasing issues happening when we send a copy into this multiband compressor. So it's important to switch this multiband compressor into a linear mode, which is this FIR setting here. Now all of these frequency bands are going to be phase aligned and phase aligned with our original signal. So let's just listen to the parallel, and I'm going to heavily compress this signal. And so with this multiband compressor, this gain control actually sets how much compression we're going to apply. So it's kind of like a threshold and gain in one. So we're going to set this to start compressing our signal quite a bit. And then on the individual bands, I'm going to set these threshold, ratio, knee controls, and we already discussed all of these controls when I talked about the limiter compressor. And so you already know how to use these. And so we're going to set the threshold on each of these to catch a lot of the signal, and then the ratio to compress it by a large amount. And then we're going to set the gain up to turn the signal back up. I'm actually going to turn the attack down, so I'm squashing all of the transients as well. So it's just really super heavily compressed drum loop right now, and as to compare to the original. And now what we can do is we can control how much of the original and the compressed signal we have in the mix. And the original is quite transient. It has a lot of these peaks in our signal, as you can tell from just the way looking at the waveform of it. So if you use a combination of both the original signal and the heavily compressed signal, it gives us the advantage of best of both worlds, where we still have a lot of these transient sort of punchy sounds coming through in the mix, but we also have this roomy sounding drum loop with a lot of sustained sounds and kind of the body of the actual drums adding into our mix. So having the ability to control between the compressed and the uncompressed signal gives us a lot of freedom as compared to just having a single compressed signal. So you can hear how much of even the room ambience of where these drums were recorded, it just really comes out, and bringing this up just slightly under your original sound and make the compression sound a little bit more transparent and not so apparent in the mix.